Like, you'll feel the tension in Nickerson with us for 20 years. Like, they've written us up on the walls, kill them, all that. But then you'll see the good people, where you're like, wow.
We're grateful that
Yeah.
you're there.
And they're
because
good people.
It would be a jungle without you.
And racism is so prevalent in the inner city.
Where are they getting these high-powered rifles?
Some are coming in from Mexico. You know, a lot of them are getting taken in home invasions. A lot of our gangs do what they're called crews. So one crew can sell dope, the others are the shooters. A third group would be the burglary crew, where they'll go out and spend days monitoring your behavior. When you leave, when you come back, they'll send a kid up to knock on the door pretending he's selling magazines. These guys are getting $100,000 a lick.
Has the murder rate gone up in the last 6 months like it has in Chicago and Baltimore?
Well, I don't know if you read War on Police, the War on Police.
Yes, of Heather McDonald.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I have her on all the time on that.
So we have a system in place where if we stop you, we give you an FDR. And that FDR tracks your age, your race, your sex, and what we stopped you for. When gangs are able to sustain themselves by making people afraid of them, creating fear and intimidation, they do that by having a bunch of people control a territory. Once a territory is claimed, you can sell your dope, have your parties, store your guns. So nobody comes in and encroaches. In Chicago, with the buildings coming down, they displaced territory. Now all these gangs are fighting for their territory back. As a result, they're killing everybody.
So what is she saying now? What is she talking about? You're just overhearing headquarters or something?
She's the RTO, the radio transmitting officer for Southeast Division.
Right.
So Eric and I can always hear it even when we're not paying attention. But you only really pay attention when you hear one beep. I mean, two beeps or three beeps.
I see.
So these calls that they're putting out right now are not important. What we do well, better than anybody probably in the country, is our equipment is really, really good, and our training.
Now, how do you explain that? Why would that be?
We cover more area than any other department in the country, so you get less for more. I mean, you get more for less. And we've always prided ourselves on tactics. We're always two-man units. And then
as opposed to what?
A lot of these perceived bad shootings, I don't know if you know, is a one officer driven car, which anytime you're by yourself and do a traffic stop, you put yourself at a disadvantage. With Eric and I, when we stop a car, one of us goes behind a tree, and his only job is to be communications and covering the contact officer. And suspects feel that presence, saying, hey, it's not worth it. It's not worth fighting. As opposed to, a college cop pulling over somebody and getting mouthy with them. And again, the cameras can be used. A lot of cops like them because they can have discretion.
Yeah. No, if they have discretion.
Right, but our department, another example, so if you go to a shooting, which we all do, and it's what we call, what would you say, Eric? A live situation. You have 8 cars keeping their cameras on. Well, at a scene like that, somebody inevitably is going to make a joke. Now, all that video is discoverable for the defense. And that's just hours of pouring through, listening to the one knucklehead who makes that comment. And it's not, he didn't make it.
No,
you
can't be human.
Feel.
You can't be human.
And so if they just would say, okay, shut it off when you feel it's appropriate, it'd be much better.
Oh, so you don't have that option?
Correct.
Are you guys wearing body cams now?
Not now. We should get them in the next month or two.
What percentage of drivers would you say don't let you in? I'm very curious, seriously. 10%, 20%?
Well, it depends where you're at. Watts?
I see.
You'll see tonight.
I mean, we can respond with lights and sirens, and they don't pull over.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
I would like to debrief after tonight if you can feel the hatred. It's unlike, at least I believe, it's unlike something you'll ever see.
Probably.
And lack of education, but more so the lack of education of what the country sees of the inner city. because where we work, out of every major city, we probably have it under control more than anybody. But that's a powder keg that can explode at any time. These people who think if you can have good community relations, it doesn't work that way with criminals.
They're naive about
Yeah.
evil. It's the left is incorrigible. They're children. They're dangerous children. That's what they are. What stops us from breaking up gangs?
Jails. I mean, we went from over 100 murders in Watts less than 8 years ago to less than 40 this year. My guess would be we're about 60 to 80 to 90 within 2-3 years.
Because of so many let out.
It's not just that they're getting let out, it's now every time we arrest them, they're doing much less time. So gang members,
Why are they doing less time?
because of the sentencing, what's considered violent or not violent. So sentencing, a gangster's not afraid to go to jail for 2 years. He's afraid to go for 18 years.
Uh-huh.
And the younger gangsters were saying, man, I ain't gonna do that shooting because I'll do life. Now it's back game on. And remember, those guys getting out can now put pressure on the youngsters to step up. So when an old gang member says to a youngster, it's your time to do the shooting, he's supposed to go do that
And
shooting.
they will be shooting another gang, is that it usually?
Well, in another gang area, which is where you get collateral damage. The kid that didn't know there was a gang war going on.
Right. Or wore the wrong clothing.
Like the son of the homicide detective who was killed in the.
It's a perfect example.
How long are you two partners?
Coming up on 4 years.
Now, do you get to choose your partner, or are they pretty much assigned?
They're assigned in patrol, but we work specialized units, so you get to pick them.
And your specialized unit is?
The housing developments.
That's called the specialized unit?
Well, let me back up a little bit. About 5 years ago, no, 8 years ago, there was 2 male black Grape Street Crips gang members. They see a male Hispanic and they rob him. They both have guns. The male Hispanic gives up his wallet and then they say, give me your keys. He thinks to himself, my daughter's home, they're gonna rape her. So he grabs one of the guy's guns and he fights him. As he's fighting him, the second male comes up, tries to shoot the Hispanic and shoots his buddy. The male Hispanic then picks up the dead guy's gun and shoots the other one, both dead. Great story. Except after the investigation, the entire gang came out and firebombed the male Hispanic's house. So we had to go in hats and bats and secure the location until we got him out. Basically, 10 of us spend all day long in the developments, and we're responsible for suppressing crime and creating programs to help the youth avoid gangs. So that's how we're a specialized unit. But I think what you'll find shocking too is how much attention Watts gets. Our gang unit for a 9-mile area is 30 officers. We don't, and then we have 30 officers. It's only a 9-mile area. We don't handle radio calls. No calls for service. I mean, that's a lot of money going down. And I bet you your area is patrolled by a security guard.
Yeah, right. By the pizza delivery man.
Double working an overnight.
Yeah, I don't know how many sheriff's officers are on patrol at any given time.
If we ever see a police car, my wife comments on it. Gee, I wonder what happened.
Pretty rare.
I have a question for you. So,
Please.
during the last couple of years in the beatdown that we've taken, and how we're portrayed as so irresponsible, that's happening everywhere, isn't it? Not just with police, but maybe with military and.
Well, the racist charge is made anyone who's in authority, but even non-authority. Every white by definition is a racist. Literally by definition. That's what college kids are taught when they enter college. That there are two types of whites: those who are racist and acknowledge it, and those who are racist and don't acknowledge it. So the white professor acknowledges it.
it's substantiated where there's authority, like in school districts where black children are disciplined or sent out of the classroom or suspended or expelled more often than non-blacks.
Correction, 1849 Ohio.
Yeah, that's right, exactly.
Authority.
If black kids are suspended more than non-black kids,
Right.
then it's
And
because
it
of
doesn't
racism,
matter
not
if
because they act up.
act up more often.
But do they the media, they don't believe this stuff they're putting out, do they?
I've come to believe that they do believe it because they live in a bubble. They only hear these things. And if you're told the earth is flat by everyone you know and by professors at college, then the earth is flat.
But what if we show you the satellite images?
Yes, so that's what I said at my house. But they don't allow facts to enter. If you tell them, well, the reason that there are more blacks in prison is that they commit more crime, then they won't accept that as fact. They will say, no, they're in there because they are put in much more easily because and they'll cite you some other statistic or just say endemic racism, systemic racism. So there's nothing. I mean, I've debated these people for 30 years. That's what they do. It's you tell them. I mean, forget this issue. You tell them, if you raise the minimum wage, more restaurants are going to go out of business.
Exactly, yeah.
So what they say is, well, that doesn't matter because they should have just earned less money. They're greedy.
Do you get a lot of hate mail and any threats?
It's very interesting. I got 4 death threats that I know of in my career. They all came by snail mail when I was at KABC. In my first, I'm 17 years in each. At each station, national 17 and local 17. And then I got, and it was fascinating, I got one from black, one from a Hispanic, one from a Muslim, and one from a Jew.
Was that a joke?
It is like a joke, I have to admit it. I read a lot. My producer is awesome, and he knows exactly what matters to me. So he will send me, what do you think on the average, Sue, about 15 articles?
Yeah, anywhere from a dozen to 20.
Yeah. And so what I do is, and that's laborious, I will read them. I put them in, I have a very fast method of putting them from the internet onto Word. And then I bold the words I want to read on the air. And then I have a lot of material. The sad part, although it's just part of my profession, I would say half of the stuff I work at and mark up, I never even read on the air. In other words, I'm over prepared for every show, which I have to be. And that's sometimes it's hours and hours. For example, during the campaign, I read every single Republican and Democratic debate, every word of every debate, and then sent it at like 2 a.m. to be marked up for to play the clips on the air.
Well, thank you, because that's where I got my information.
That's right. Well, I know that, and that's the reason I feel responsible to do it.
In this area that we're going to, if I were to drive there in my car and just drive around and shop in a local store, and what would happen? Would anything happen?
First of all, we don't have local stores.
Oh, okay.
Right, I was
That's
thinking
not a
that.
joke.
Yeah, no, I know that.
I know. Just always accusing
Right.
big companies of racism because they don't put bonds and things in these neighborhoods. Of course, one riot and there's no reason.
And
why
history
we would have
shows
come
that, right?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Marissa Streit, CEO of PragerU. Did you know that PragerU is a nonprofit? Every dollar you give will go towards making more videos and marketing them. So please consider making a donation today.
The shooter in this case was shot at. He didn't know which gang shot him, Bounty Hunters or Project Crips. So he said, we're going to get both of them. So they went and shot 2 different people from 2 different gangs. What's interesting is after this, an hour later, Officer Yanez pulls the car over. They had 4 suspects in the car, 3 guns, and they were all doing cocaine. The only one that got prosecuted in that car was the gentleman who had his phone on because they were able to ping him to this location. The other 2 murderers, got off, even though they caught him in the car with the guns.
Well, looking at the man on the left, correct?
That is a female.
That's a
Who
female.
we call a basehead. Who is?
Wait, and what is she doing?
She's acting all crazy because she's on drugs, and she
Right.
starts mouthing off to the gangsters.
Were these guys caught?
November
No.
6th, 7th,
No
Why not?
witnesses.
and 8th.
Never got their license?
No, but we did receive information from informants,
Yeah.
and that's when we start targeting.
So I have a question, which may sound naive, but I'm still going to ask it.
And it was a male.
I do believe that if religion came into these places, it's probably the one hope. Is that rational, or is that, am I just sort of whistling Dixie?
Let's start bringing in fathers. Not
Oh,
our
I'm with
father.
that, yeah, but I don't know which comes first, actually.
Yeah.
It's an interesting question. Yeah, I'm totally, well, that's my answer to white privilege.
So was she
Two-parent privilege.
suffering during this time?
In general,
Yeah.
it's I'm sure you've heard it a million times, like we do. It's the nonviolent offenders.
Yes, that's
It's
right.
the talk about the nonviolent offenders. I mean, right now there's not a lot of controversy about putting people in prison who are murderers and doing shootings and that kind of thing. But the big push is all these prisons are full of nonviolent
Yes,
offenders.
that's the myth.
And first, I mean, personally, one of my issues with that is there's a lot of nonviolent crime that's really significant. You come home and someone's broken into your house and ransacked
I
your
never
home.
understood why that's not considered violent.
Yeah, I think it's just because
Because a person hasn't been hurt.
right, and
So
and it
violence is
wasn't
only
even
against
face-to-face.
bodies. So if your house is blown up when you're away, that's not a violent crime.
Yeah, and I don't know.
No,
if
I'm curious.
An explode. I don't know because I don't really deal with
Right.
that kind of a thing. But I would think an explosion because maybe it's first of all, how do they know someone's not in there and that kind of thing. But if someone breaks into the house and you're not there and they ransack it, we see houses that are ransacked and whatnot, and you come into the most personal space that you have.
Of course.
And people have been through everything and taken
No,
things.
it's a horrific thing.
Horrific, especially,
Yes.
I have small children.
Yes.
And then it makes you really worried about,
Yes.
well, our house isn't secure.
Correct.
Who's to say this couldn't happen when we were home?
That's right.
And it does.
Right.
It does happen when people are home. And then you have burglars that are non-violent offenders. All of a sudden it turns into a violent crime because now you have a home invasion where people are tied up and they're robbed. And now it
Well,
turns
not many
into a
people
robbery.
know that burglary is considered non-violent crime. But because they're always thinking it's drugs when it's non-violent
Right,
crime.
right. That gets the most attention. And that's another big misconception is that these people that are in there for nonviolent crimes or drug crimes, that they're nonviolent criminals.
Right.
And that is, that's far from the truth. Now, I'm not saying that it's always, that they're always violent criminals.
Right.
But one of the things that we do here is, some of it is real basic stuff. When there's violent crimes such as shootings, and our unit focuses mostly on gang shootings. Attempted murders, assaults with firearms, it could be assaults with knives or other weapons, things like that. Then, we're assigned those cases and we try to catch the suspects, right? But the biggest problem we have is a lack of cooperation from people who are afraid of the gangs and afraid of the
Right.
suspects.
Right.
It's really difficult to
Yeah.
get people to
And so
cooperate,
I put 'em up, I
witnesses
don't know if you
and the
wanna
victims
look at it, or
themselves.
I don't know if you
And
wanna-
there's a big attitude, especially with the attempted murder, that hey, I got shot in the leg or I got shot in the side and I'm going to live. It's bringing more trouble upon myself to try to prosecute these people than if we kind of just go our separate ways and hey, I'm happy I'm alive. And you have witnesses and you have the victims that are afraid of retaliation, and we've seen it. We've seen homes firebombed, we've seen loved ones raped, we've seen people shot at again for cooperating with the police and going to court. So people have good reason to be afraid of these things. But they're in the mix with the same characters. They're helping out in this gang, which is really kind of some level of organized crime, and we'll sweep them at the end and arrest 40 people. And like I said, it might be a combination of firearms trafficking, narcotics trafficking, burglary crews. The last case we did, we ended up with a lot of identity theft, and then they go to prison for that. Well, they're nonviolent criminals. So, everyone looks at them as nonviolent criminals, and they're in the, well, this is all the war on drugs, and, then the courts get it all mixed up with, we have them in there for narcotics trafficking, but then they're allowed to maybe plead down to narcotics possession. So then it's looked at, so they have a drug problem. And then they go to narcotics classes as part of a probation agreement. And you're putting narcotics dealers in narcotics classes that are in there with all the people with real narcotics problems, using problems. Legalizing drugs, which disproportionately affect poor neighborhoods, it doesn't alleviate the problem, which is drug users that can't afford to use these drugs. It ruins their life, they lose their jobs. Now they're out breaking into cars and doing all these petty crimes, which make that neighborhood not a good place to live.
So I'm against legalizing drugs,
Right.
but let's say it were. What is the answer to the people who say, well, then they won't then burglarize, they won't have to rob for money?
Well, unless they plan on giving these drugs away, people still need money to go buy the drugs. If you're buying them from a drugstore or you're buying them from an illegal dealer on the corner, where are they going to get the money to buy the drugs? They still have to break into cars to get the money to buy drugs. They still have to rob people to get the money. Well, I mean, you can outlaw whatever you want. I mean, right now, one of the biggest things we're seeing is, what they're calling the syrup or the lean, which is promethazine or codeine. It's the cough syrup, and they put it into drinks. They'll mix it with Gatorade or sodas or whatever.
Yeah.
So this is a pharmaceutical. That's why you're seeing all the pharmacy robberies. I don't know if you've been hearing about all the pharmacy and burglary robberies. That's another big thing that's happening. It's because they're going after all the syrups, the cough syrups. So there's no lack of substances out there. It's not a cocaine problem.
What percentage of the bad guys have fathers in their lives? Rough estimate.
Very few. I mean, I would say 10%, it seems like. Most of the people that, when I'm interviewing them for these gang-related crimes, they've had if they know who their father is, there's no significant role played by their father.
Right.
Or
Yeah.
their father got them into the gang. This is a family, they get into the gang through the family. So, sometimes I wonder, I don't know, do you want the father involved in the life in this situation?
Right, no, that's a good point.
But yeah, clearly, we don't really encounter, it is a rare, and I'm talking maybe 1% of the time, where you have,
An intact
it seems
family.
like you have a good family. Maybe
Right,
you end up meeting
right.
the mom, or you might meet him through court. I've been in trials where I'm seeing the suspect's mom in there every day, and I end up talking to her. And it's rare where you say, this doesn't make sense.
Right.
Most of the time you're saying,
It makes sense.
okay, half of all the brothers and sisters have kind of been in trouble. The mom and the dad they have their own
Do
issues.
the churches play any productive role here, or it's beyond their ability?
I do think they play a productive role. I think that, these things are always hard to measure because you say, what would it be like without them?
Good point.
Right? But I do think there is a network of support in the churches. You do hear people that I have found, people that I've dealt with that want to turn their life around. Sometimes they can turn to the church. But I think that the scope of the problem is the churches are going to accept you if you've backslid and you've fallen off the wagon, and then you come back to the church. Of course, they're there to help you, but the churches can't really enforce you to go to church all the time and not be involved in the bad stuff. I really think that people looking for help, if you're really looking for a different way, the churches are there to help you, but it has to really come from you. They're not going to force you. They can't.
Yeah, naturally.
Yeah.
How does it work that one becomes a detective? Does one start out as a regular policeman? And then you specialize? Is that what happens?
Everyone starts in a black and white, working patrol. And the reality is that you're never going to be a good detective unless you have those. Right. That's where you have your day-to-day contact, where you see everything firsthand. You're a first responder. You need those experiences. I mean, you need to learn how to talk to people, how to interview people, how to interact in, such a varied amount of situations that nothing is going to shock you. I mean, you literally, working patrol is such an interesting job because you literally can go from one call where you're consoling a family who's lost a loved one in a traffic accident, and you leave and you turn the corner and you're in the middle of a shooting in progress. I mean, those are things that really happen, and your mind has to be able to change like that.
Right. What price do you pay for seeing so much evil?
Well, I don't know. We'll see. That's something that my wife and I talk about, and I think there's a couple ways to look at it. One benefit that I think seeing all these things has is it puts things in perspective. If I come home and something that negative happens, maybe an issue with our kid, a minor issue with one of our kids, or a problem with a bill, or something, your pipe breaks at home.
Exactly.
When I've come from work where I just saw a guy who was shot up on the street and paralyzed, didn't seem that serious. It's really not that big a deal. But over time, I definitely feel like it has made me conscious of things and maybe a bit paranoid about things where I wasn't before. I don't necessarily think that's negative, but I don't know. I don't know how I'm aware of it. Well, there are times where I've been involved in long-term investigations where, we find out that people working in a travel agency are giving, for money, personal information.
So you don't know who to trust.
So you don't know who to trust. And every time you sit and you talk to someone, you're wondering, And when you've done these investigations, you may look at someone who you know is guilty because they're caught up on a wiretap or
Right.
you have them on video doing this, and you think, I would have never guessed in a million years. I wouldn't have known. So that you can't tell. And then when you go to, like I said, to a travel agency is one that comes to mind because we had a case like that, or the DMV, and you think,
They were telling me about
no
the
idea.
DMV.
Yeah, I have no idea if someone am I giving my information to someone that is susceptible to being paid off for this information? And then also, you see some terrible, terrible violent crimes. I mean, stuff that when it's in the news, they don't even tell the true story of what happened. They tell a portion of it, but they don't tell the details because it's horrific and no one wants to hear this stuff. And you think, I can't help but playing some of these scenarios in my head about what if this happened to my wife or my kids, So it does. It makes you worried about things that if I didn't know about those things and I didn't know how often maybe they happened, I wouldn't be so worried about it. So I suppose that takes a toll.
In that way it does. I assume, though, also, when you said perspective, you probably appreciate decent people more.
You do. And I tell you the thing that I think is so ironic. I hear a lot in the media about law enforcement and how there's all the implicit bias and unconscious bias. And again, I have a different perspective on that. I feel like, we're the ones who are in these neighborhoods that have all these challenges. And I feel like I'm the least person to be biased because I have to sort through on a daily basis people that may look the same and dress the same, but who are the bad guys and who aren't the bad guys, right? And I get to kind of see that on a daily basis.
I just want you to know, no problem, but I know what that tattoo is. What would they have said?
I don't see what it would have accomplished. And it would have revealed myself as being law
I see.
enforcement.
Okay. Oh, because the average citizen wouldn't know that.
Probably not.
Right.
probably.
Would the average person in the neighborhood know that?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
I
The
see.
neighborhoods know who's who.
I see.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I can only tell you, God bless you for your work.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank
Really,
you.
I am a big admirer of it.
Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. It's rewarding. I know people, and we appreciate it, and people express their appreciation. But I tell you what, I feel like it's nice to know that there's people out there that support us, and we do know it. But
Right.
it's rewarding. I mean, I feel like I'm. Sometimes I feel like
Well, you're not
I do it for
alone.
free.
I mean, you're not alone. I mean, I have a national radio show, and believe me, I get so much mail supporting me when I talk on your behalf. People are quite angry, actually.
Yeah,
on
and
your behalf.
it does help. It does help because when you hear about the small minority that
But
is against you,
And the
it's
small
nice.
minority, though, they own the media, and they own the universities and the high schools, and that's a shame. That's the big problem.
It is a shame, especially when so many people believe what they believe because of so much false information.
Well, they want to believe it. I don't even give them that benefit. I mean, you're right about the public, but the people who send out these messages, they should know better. I don't blame the average person reading it. Oh, well, really? Wow. But the people who send it out, I do hold them responsible.
I think that's most baffling to me about all this is it's the minority neighborhoods that suffer the
Oh,
most.
of course.
When
But
crime
it
goes
doesn't
up,
seem to bother them.
when crime goes up, the
Right.
good neighborhood. I mean,
Yes.
you take the height of the crime wave in the early to mid '90s. The difference in crime in
Right.
West LA and Beverly Hills is going to be minimal.
Right.
Okay, but the difference of crime in this area
Yes, of
is
course.
we're talking about
Exactly.
thousands and thousands of deaths
Yeah.
that are different from low crime to high crime, and so that's what really baffles me is the whole idea of what I consider deceiving people about the nature of a lot of these crimes
Yeah.
and wanting to put them back out on the street. They're not coming to my neighborhood.
That's right.
You know, they're coming to the neighborhoods that we
They're not
work in.
coming to the editors of the New York Times
No,
homes.
they're not. They're not. And so it really makes me question: who are you helping
Yes.
by doing this?
All right. Don't start me.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you so much.
Well, thank
and
you.
Just know we're out there fighting for you.
Thank you, sir, and thank you
Yes,
for
sir.
getting our message out there.
We
It's
are.
really
we
important.
are. Bless you.
All right,
You
thank you.
bet.
Thank you, guys.
That's great.
Take care.
Thank you.
Hi, Steve.
I'm Jared Sechelle, PragerU's Director of Communications. Did you know that PragerU is a 501c3 nonprofit and relies entirely on donations from viewers like you? To ensure that more young Americans see these videos, please consider making a donation today. Thank you for your support.
So Sue and Steve and you are going to go with Harper Doctor about 7:30.
Okay,
And,
great. Thank you.
We'll
Right.
meet some better folks of Watts, and I'm going to take them through the developments.
So what are you thinking right now?
What am I thinking? I'll tell you. It's a mixture of gratitude and anger. More anger, frankly. The gratitude. The attacks on police. It's look. The reason I'm here is you know what I say on the radio, but it's so vile, and the people who suffer because of it. I mean, it's bad for the police, but they still will go home in the most cases, you know. But the people who live here, it's in the realm of the sick. It's just in the realm of the sick.
And the public has no idea. But
Well,
these people go out and
half
take
the
a vote
public
and
does. That's the amazing thing. But it's the public that doesn't teach our kids in schools and universities, doesn't write the editorials. You know, that's the problem. The bad guys have a lot of influence in our society. And I'm talking white collar bad guys. I'm not just talking, you know, the guys with the guns here. Look, you know, that's what it's anyway. That answers you. It's what I'm thinking. I fume when I come to these places.
what's amazing to me that no matter who it is or where, guess what their first phone call is when they're in trouble?
Yes, no. There's no. It's all emotion. It's all the miserable want to make misery. It's not thought through. So where would I? Okay.
We got these two? Yes, you guys are coming with me?
All right.
So 7:30, you said 19.
So are we headed to an area that's known as a tough area? What's...
You know, once we leave the division, so there's at least 56 active gangs in Southeast Division. So right now, we just left the station. We're heading to Front Street. We're gonna go through Front Street Hood. They're kind of quiet right now. They feud with Back Street, which is, there's a wash that separates them. They're both kind of inactive but active, if that makes sense. They're feud. They're not shooting back and forth. However, if they cross passes, it'd be at minimum a fight. So, and then as we go through that, we're gonna pass Nickerson Gardens. We won't go in there yet. I think Johnny said he wanted to be part of that. That's his project. And then beyond that, Imperial Courts, which is controlled by Project Crips. And that's where most of the guys are working right now. So we'll just try to see if we can stumble across.
So right now, the temper of the times is that when a gang member sees a cop car, is he intimidated or he's not any longer intimidated?
Black and white, they're not intimidated at all. There's two theories. What we're finding they'll do now is just sit tight, and they'll send a runner. We'll go after the runner, thinking the guy will hold his waistband and do the whole playing like he has a gun or contraband, and divert our attention from the group, and then the group will just kind of walk away into a house or into a unit. So they're using that technique a lot. Sometimes they just flat out run. As we get wise, they get wise, and they change their routine. And then they'll go back to an old routine too. So.
Now, that's a hotel. Is that an actual hotel?
It is. It's
okay.
Like we wouldn't check in there.
No. That's my point. Yeah. So who is checking in there?
Narcotics users, low income, gang members. It's not really a prostitution location, so.
How do you know? You just know that because you know the area?
Figueroa Corridor is our main prostitution corridor. So the hotels there are used for prostitution. Avalon is another one.
If I went into that hotel and said I'd like a room, would they scratch their heads?
No, because they want your money.
So it'd be a non-issue?
It would be a non-issue. Now, is there a high likelihood you get robbed? Yes. At some point when you're leaving, going or two. Because there's eyes everywhere.
Right.
So even though we're still in Front Street Hood, even though this area is quiet, there's eyes. They know we're on the street right now. They know who's driving through. There's always someone watching. If that kind of makes sense.
Yes, and in order to what? To report, beware, there's a cop on so-and-so road?
Right. It's just, and as narcotic sales have changed, it used to be blatant street corner sales. We don't have that anymore, so it's a little different in the sense of...
What do you have now?
The hot location, meaning a residence, an apartment. They'll sell drugs from within there because it's not visible.
And who comes to buy those drugs?
Everybody. I mean, that's
including the middle class.
Middle class will kind of go more to safer areas.
Yeah, well, that's.
But you'll see them in the projects every once in a while.
Well, so who's buying in the projects?
Fellow
project dwellers.
I've seen Asian people from the Hustler Casino coming there. I've seen your base heads, your homeless, your shopping cart pushers, whoever is allowed in there to buy without the fear of being robbed will go in there to buy.
From Central 120 is identified. Carry 51. Indian Henry 51 responding to a search from Central 120 to Compton at 106. 18D31, 18D31, come in.
So this group that we're going to is Haciendas. There's two gangs in there, Hacienda Village Boys and Bloods.
And So what are you rushing to right now?
Because my guys put out an additional unit request, and that generally means
CP31, yes, I have several
that
units
they
around
need
your
more
location.
than
We have
just
it Compton and
one
106.
unit.
Uh-huh.
And we've taken rocks and bottles here recently. Because honestly, I gotta get there as quick as possible to assume control of the scene.
Well,
That's
sure,
what the department expects. Even though my guys are more than capable of it. So this is a hacienda's real quick tour. It's our smallest project. They're like very small units. It's a very poor gang, but they're just as violent.
They almost look like mobile homes.
Yeah, if you go in there, it's just an open kitchen, small living, and a bedroom.
Want to introduce yourself?
I'm Dennis. Pleasure.
So these are my probably two favorite people in this development.
I mean, even
does she
just
have an
a little
attitude
lights on the
sometimes?
phone.
Let me guess.
How old are you, Amir? Of course she has an attitude.
38.
Just like
12
down
going
around
up
you.
38. We all know. We've all lived through that.
First, Amir, how hard does your Keeban work? Very hard, to give you some really good things, and he's always there. So one thing is that we like at the school is to take parents to have some responsibility. Keeban goes way, way beyond. He's taken over the coaching the basketball, right?
Well, this year he's been working a lot, so he hasn't, but he did last year.
Yeah. And there's only one rule. Keeban, you lose, you're out.
We win.
Oh, he does win, but honestly, he's taking what she's got, and he works really, really hard. He lives in a neighborhood that a lot of men don't work. A lot of men's not taking care of their families, and he's there for all his kids.
How many kids do you have?
5.
So he's
What
always
number are you in the 5?
4.
No, she's 2.
I'm sorry?
She's
Oh,
You went backwards.
Yeah, she went.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all right. You counted from the youngest up. That's a good way of counting. That makes sense.
So everybody says, Imperial Courts is crazy. I said, you got to come to a parking lot and be 2 people. It's my sanity parking lot.
So I got a question for you. And it may not be answerable, but it's as hard as it is to answer. You're different from a lot of men. Why?
I think we should give up on that night.
My wife,
If we can
one reason,
take care of her right.
she pushed me to be a better man, and
I mean,
my children,
right now
especially, they pushed me to be better.
There's not much more that a second
Because
thing
I was out in the streets when I was younger and wasn't doing well and stuff like that. But once, I started seeing that I'm the only one that's going to be there for them, besides the mom and close family, that children need their father in their life. I see the difference with people that didn't have a father in their life and how I'm raising my children. That it's very important to have a father in their life. So that's my goal, just to be there for my kids and my family.
So you turned your life around, as it were.
Yes.
And primarily because of marriage.
Marriage and children.
And children.
Yes.
Right.
Did you have a father in your life?
Yeah, my dad and my mom, they were divorced when I was about 9, and maybe for a few years she remarried, and my stepfather, he was vital in my life. He's been there, and they're still together now.
So he's really been like your dad.
Yeah.
So you had a father figure in your life.
Yeah.
That's a big deal, no?
Yeah, seeing that. My father was always there when he was around, and him and my mom were together, and my stepfather as well. So that taught me a lot too as well.
Did he discipline you?
Yeah. Yes. Of course. Of course.
Well, I think I knew the answer, but I still thought I should ask it.
Yeah.
Are you a church-going family or not particularly?
Not particularly.
Right.
But we do believe in God. We pray and stuff like that, but we don't go to church every Sunday, stuff like that.
You do pray?
Yes.
Really? How often? I'm just curious. There's no right answer.
I pray nightly. I pray before I go to sleep.
Your kids know that?
They might not know that. I don't really try to push religion on them, because they wouldn't fully understand it now anyway. Most of my kids, besides her, my oldest daughter, my other kids are 8 and below. So.
How old is your oldest?
She's 13.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I don't want to push that on them.
Where do you work?
I'm a truck driver.
So you're not home a lot then.
Long haul or area?
Oh yeah, well it may not be
area.
long.
I'm
Area.
local.
Oh, okay,
I
so
work.
you're
I
home.
do. I drive Super 10s, which are dirt trucks. So I'm at a lot of construction sites. So it's long hours. I gotta get up real early and get to wherever I'm going. Tomorrow I go to Culver City. So it's just every day is something different.
How do you feel living here? Do you feel safe?
Sort of, kind of. I mean, I don't feel in danger. Like if I come outside, or I don't really like walk around or anything like that. And I'm real protective of my kids, so I don't really let them just roam out by themselves.
Even during the day?
Even during the day, I have 4 girls, so I'm kind of real protective. So I don't really like let them run all over the place, but I do let them come out, ride their bikes, stuff like that. But I come out more often and check on them, you know.
If you could financially, would you want to move?
Oh, most definitely.
You would?
Most definitely.
To where?
I don't have a specific place in mind now, but that's what I'm gonna be working on 2017 is getting a house.
You are?
Yeah.
So that's a big deal.
Yeah.
So your wife is full-time at home?
Yeah, my
With
son.
5 kids, it makes sense.
My son, which is the youngest, he had a bone marrow transplant.
Really?
About a year and a half ago. So since then, she's been at home with him.
What did he have?
He had sickle cell anemia. And my daughter, which was his donor, my youngest daughter, which was his donor, donated the bone marrow to him. And
where was it done?
At Children's Hospital Los Angeles and on Sunset.
Felt you got good care?
Great. We still go there. We still have to go there every. Well, it's getting better. We go there every 6 months now. We were going every.
Did you have your own medical insurance or health insurance, or is it through your work, or was it just
Medi-Cal? I didn't
Medi-Cal.
even have a job at the time when that happened.
So Medi-Cal covered you.
Medi-Cal, and he also got Social Security since it was a terminal illness, and they helped out. They helped out with the medical as well.
So how's his prognosis? It's good?
Very good. I got news about a week ago, probably a few days before Christmas. His doctor called because we had an appointment early December, and they did a lot of blood work on him, and his results came back good. His bone marrow, my daughter's bone marrow that she donated is about 90%, which is awesome because hers is growing and his is not fighting it.
That's the best. Exactly.
So they said everything is looking good. They stretched out the appointments from 3 months, which it was before, to every 6 months now. So
what a Christmas present!
Right, that was the greatest Christmas present I got this year. So
happy for you.
Yeah.
So you're friendly with the officers who come up by? Does anybody think you're a sellout for being friendly with officers?
I wouldn't care what anybody thinks.
Okay, that's the best attitude.
I'm 34 years old.
But you don't get flack?
Nah, I don't. I mean, if somebody says something, like I say, I don't really hang out with anybody around here.
Oh, I see.
I mean, even if I did, it wouldn't matter.
Right.
My cousin, he gives me flack for it. He knows the program. He just messing with me. But it doesn't. It really wouldn't matter because they're helping and they're not harming.
Right. So what does he give you? What is his argument to give you a hard time?
Just how we grew up and
just almost like reflexive.
Just talking to the police. Period.
Right.
So, I mean, that's just how we grew up. That's
right. They're the enemy.
Exactly. And I've come to learn that they're not. So Kaufman is a great guy. I mean, you guys wouldn't understand. This guy he checks on me all the time.
Who?
Kaufman.
Him?
He checks on me all the time. He calls me and sees how I'm doing, sees if I need anything.
Right.
Make sure if he gets any tickets anywhere, he's giving them to us to go out, baseball games, pay for everything, get dinner for a birthday. I mean, just so much stuff. Kaufman is awesome. All these officers. I know him with the glasses. Can't think of his name right now, but
that's Eric. Is that Eric?
No,
that's not Eric. Okay.
He's great. They're all in the OP program, so. But Kaufman is like I have his number in my phone. You know what I'm saying? So. And
that's Ortiz.
That's Ortiz. That's right. But Kaufman, he's great. That's my buddy. That's why he called me, and I came right out.
That's great.
Right.
That's great. It's a delight to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Good
too.
luck to you
Same
and your
to you.
kids.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
No problem.
This is great. You told us adorable.
Thank you.
A pistol,
Keep
that's
it.
what they say, right? She's a pistol.
Yes.
Is that
Yes.
do they use that
Yeah.
term still? Is that an old-fashioned term?
Yep.
Firecracker, yeah.
There should be a Chabad house here.
Should be a what?
A Chabad house somewhere here.
Yeah, right. Sooner Cambodia. Wow. A lot of
Oh, I've
company.
been here. This is a good place.
You get out?
Yeah.
No, to breed hatred of people who help people. This notion that there are bad cops. There are bad rabbis. It's an idiocy. There are bad. What a stupid statement. It means nothing. It means nothing. There are bad everything. So everything should be shut down.
With the guy that shot the bed?
The guy, yeah.
He got off.
No,
It was
no.
a hung jury.
Yeah, so he's going to be retried. Yeah.
But even with that video, which clearly looks like
Right, but I don't know the whole story. I agree with you. I don't know the whole story. I acknowledge. Well, no, but it was only one juror. Of course, there's no issue of racism. Yes, that's a very important point. Yes, he could have been panicked. He's a human being. You know, you don't know. Oh, I'm going to shoot him. But because if he was a white running away, I wouldn't shoot him. Look at this dog. He's very sweet. He's just he's expecting his dog to bark his brains out. Sure, whatever you want to show me, we'll see. Is this one house? And they got Christmas and little dudes. This white dog just not look vicious. I don't think they get much attention normally. This is like a special night for them.
It's hysterical. These are the watchdogs.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Well, that's what I wonder if you drop onto the other side of the fence, do they then change their demeanor?
No, I'm not going to try.
Right, exactly.
It's a good girl. It's a good girl.
Hi, I'm Craig Strazzeri, CMO of PragerU. Did you know that PragerU is a non-profit organization? We rely on donations to keep our videos free and keep reaching more people. So consider a donation today. We appreciate it.
Hello, good evening, good evening. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too.
Thank you.
Good to see you here. Oh my God, you're so tall.
Too tall, I'm too tall.
Hello, welcome. Hi, I'm Miss Jenny.
Hi, I'm Sue.
Nice to meet you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Dennis, may I call you Dennis? I know it's
Of course. God bless you, sir.
I've been listening to you for 20 years.
You
I'm a
have?
NASCAR Jack guy.
So, oh, wow. I don't believe it.
Absolutely.
That proves it.
That does prove it. How many?
Prager, if I might
Yes.
say, you're
You're a lot taller than you look on the radio.
Isn't that true? I know. I don't know what to say. They expect short people on radio.
So we are an after-school program. We have kids first grade through high school.
Right.
25 different schools represented, from Catholic, charter, and public schools. Well, they come from all over the city, basically.
I'm sorry, so what is it exactly?
Just
is it
an after-school program.
I see.
We tutor and
and how many hours after school is it?
They're here about 3 hours.
Really? And how many partake of it?
We have about 150 that come daily and about 180 registered with a waiting list of kids that want to come in.
Okay.
So, and we even have one of your quotes up. We had this up many years.
Oh, really? Look at that. Hey, Reed.
Yeah.
That's really, look at that, a quote from me. I'm really touched.
We're about 98% Hispanic now. When we first got to the community.
What percentage of the residents around here about is Hispanic?
About the same.
I'm sorry, about the same?
About the same.
Oh, it's overwhelmingly Hispanic.
Overwhelmingly.
Oh, I see. I didn't know that.
And now,
no wonder there's so many Christmas decorations. I was admiring it.
Yeah, exactly. With the property, this was one owner, and then we had one next door, and they both donated back in the early 90s after the riots. So a lot of businesses were just vacating the community, and Jim happened to find out what neighborhood had the worst test scores and the worst crime rates.
Yeah.
And it was right here.
Is that right?
And so driving around, we were looking for properties to try to buy, and luckily, these owners said, we'll donate.
Wow.
After a lot of finagling, and we convinced them to do it. They got a nice tax write-off. But it looked like that when we got it. And it took many years to get it.
I would imagine. It's gorgeous now. Look at this. So how old are the kids who come?
First grade through high school.
Oh, wow.
From 2 to 4, this place is crammed, every one of these classrooms.
Yeah, some of the kids are still here. You'll get to meet some of them. This is our fifth grade
Some of
level
the kids have been
classroom.
leaving by 8, so we're hoping he'll see a few of them before he leaves.
And our goal, Dennis, is to become a school.
That'd be great.
Oh. Charter school?
Private school.
Private school.
Still no government money.
Come meet our visitors. Everybody's eating pizza.
Looks good. How do you do? My name is Dennis. Pleasure to meet you.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, Elizabeth. Good to know you.
Teach them, man. How are you?
Do I know you?
Hi.
My name is Emily.
Thank you, Emily. Same here. Dennis is my name. Thank you. Nice to meet you. Thank you, sir. Pleasure indeed. Hi. Good to meet you. Can I say a word to them?
Please do.
Oh, hi, everybody. I'm a new friend of the officer, Officer Kaplan, whom you know, this wonderful, wonderful man. And do you know what I do every day? I talk on the radio to the whole country. Stations all over America. I talk to a few million people every day for 3 hours. And I tell them what I think. And I get paid to tell people what I think. Is that a great job or what? Yeah. And then they call in and you know what they tell me? How wrong I am. And that's what I do for a living. I've been doing it for 33 years. Talking on the radio every day for 3 hours. And I don't get to see the people I talk to. Not like here, I'm seeing everybody. And they don't see me unless they go on the internet and look for pictures. But they don't usually look for pictures because they just want to hear me, not see me. And I'm here because I heard of what great work is done here and how good you kids are, and it certainly seems to be the case. And all the wonderful people who work here. You're very lucky to have this place. So I just wanted to say hi and tell you that I'm going to even talk about this on the radio. That's how important I think it is. So maybe you'll hear about it. So enjoy your pizza, and thanks for having us.
Guys, so he came down out of his busy schedule because he believes in the police.
Yep.
And he believes in you. So you
That
guys
is-
got to keep believing in you, right? Keep doing the right thing, keep being respectful, and keep becoming educated. And then maybe you'll be on the radio.
The police are the bravest people we have in America. It's hard to be brave. And what? soldiers. And so good? Soldiers. Oh, and soldiers, you're right. That's right. But the soldiers, that's a very fair point. You're right. But I'm thinking of the soldiers outside of America. That's where they're doing the fighting, and they are just as brave. You're absolutely right. But inside of America, these are the people. Every day, they go to work and they don't know what will happen.
What do you guys say to Mr. Prager for coming down?
You're welcome.
Could you tell them what time you start work tomorrow?
I am on the radio at 9 in the morning till noon, and I work at night until about 1 in the morning preparing for my show, because I have to know what's going on in the world to be able to talk about it. So I do more work before the show than even during the show, because I gotta be prepared. And every night, gotta do it every night. So I have nice hours. 9 to noon is a nice job, but that's not all my hours. Then I work hours at night.
What's that? It is a lot.
It is a lot.
I think someone might be taking a nap after work tomorrow.
Not me. At 1 o'clock after the show, I go to the gym next door and work out. I know you can't tell looking at me, but I do work out.
I think you got a question, Dylan.
Yes.
Do you sleep?
Do I sleep? That is an extremely, yes, but not much. I sleep most nights 5.5 hours.
Then my mom doesn't really usually sleep because she wakes up 3 at night.
Oh, why she goes to work at that hour? Oh, that's tough. You got a wonderful mom. That's tough to wake up at 3.
And my daddy, he takes me to school.
I guess you got a wonderful mommy and a wonderful daddy. You're very lucky.
And then my grandma just showers me and does my hair.
Oh, does she? Well, you really got a whole world taking care of you. It's like a staff. It has her own staff. If they want to do mine, work on me. Yeah.
And every day I say thank you when they come to my house.
You should do that. That's the best 2 words in language is thank you. I can explain why. Yeah.
How is the gym open?
At 1 o'clock?
Yes.
Actually, I'm very lucky. Next door to my radio station is a very big gym, and they have trainers who you pay some money, and then they make sure you work hard. Because I would not work nearly as hard if I didn't have a trainer. I would basically do nothing. But she makes me work very hard.
Is it she or he?
I'm sorry?
Is it a she or a he?
Is it a C or an E? Oh, a she or a he? My trainer is a she. Yes. Now, you know why I said thank you are the most important 2 words? Because the greatest thing you could have is gratitude. You know what gratitude means? To be grateful, to feel that you owe people thanks. That's the most important thing. And so that what you said is a very big deal, that you tell them thank you every day. Thank you are the best 2 words.
And that idea was from Mr. Anderson and his teacher.
What was that? What was that?
That idea.
We say it every single day, and that's my message. So what do I tell you? What do I want you most to be in your life when you grow up? Happy. That's right.
Right, but you can't be happy if you're not grateful. That's what
the
you
other
have
message.
to. I wrote a book on happiness. I know.
Now, a lot of the things I talk to you about, I've learned from Dennis.
That's very sweet.
I've been listening to him for over 20 years, and he's taught me a lot of those messages.
Yeah, Don.
Yes.
Remind him what is the other reason.
And I also live it myself.
And why the other reason you tell them they're to be happy? Because they don't do what? Happy people don't.
Happy people don't do good stuff.
No, they do. What's the other thing I say?
Happy people.
Happy people don't hurt other people.
That's right. Yes, happiness. That's right. And it starts with being grateful. It starts with, wow, am I lucky to have this? Am I lucky to have this person in my life? Am I lucky to be healthy? And so on.
Okay, one more question I think we have.
Yes.
Speak up, Jalen. We can't hear you.
It's not actually a question.
That's okay.
A comment? What is she gonna do?
Oh, you did that? Okay, so very nice.
Is that for me? It is? Oh, I'm so touched. Would you get a picture of this? This is very special to me. I'm going to put this up in my house. This is really nice. I want you to know I couldn't draw this if I were given 10 years to do it. That's beautiful, actually. Thank you very much.
All right, guys, thanks
Thanks, everybody. It was really great to meet you. Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, hope you enjoyed the video. Did you know PragerU is 100% fan-funded? We make videos for people like you because of the support of people like you. Click here to help out and help us keep knowledge free for everyone.
Hola. Hola. Hola.
Hi.
Good seeing you.
Hi, Marilyn.
Hi, Sue. Nice to meet you.
Dennis, hi. Hi, Marilyn.
Gorgeous. How are you?
Hello. How are you? What's your name?
Arceli.
Arceli? Yes. I'm Sue. Nice to meet you.
Hi, Dennis. We're married.
She is the first kid in your family ever to be on scholarship at private school?
Yes.
What school is that?
St. Mary's Academy in Greenville.
Oh, wonderful.
What's your grade point average? Don't rub that in my face because I never got
Why
one.
isn't it better than that? That's what my father would have said. Only 4.0? Actually, it's a joke. I never had a 4.0.
Do you think you
My
can
parents
do
were happy I
Can
graduated.
you show me your room?
Yeah.
That's really the best. That's the best.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, the picture when we did your room.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Oh, that is awesome. Oh, so you asked me a question, so means I have to write back the answer.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll write you a letter then. I will. Let me read this real quick.
No.
Wow, you're talented. I mean, obviously, there's no question. That's great. It's mesmerizing.
Good, Shy. That's your work. Be proud.
Real life drawing. So this is pencil.
Yes, and then it's watercolor on the top.
This?
Yeah,
Oh, really? That's watercolor?
it's pencil.
Yeah.
And then I just put water
So
on
you
top.
can see this.
The color.
Yeah. So it's pencil first, and then I just
Oh,
like.
here we go. Now this is watercolor, obviously.
Yeah, that's watercolor.
Araceli, can you tell?
This is really, look at this. This is great stuff.
Can you tell?
Never get rid of this.
Yeah.
Never, ever, ever.
Okay.
This is really impressive.
Can you tell these Sue and Dennis how much you go outside when you get home?
Not at all.
Yeah. I have a feeling you'll have a safer neighborhood one day.
Yes, because you're not going to be in this neighborhood.
Yeah. So what is it? You want to be a plastic surgeon?
Very close.
One of our closest friends is a plastic surgeon.
That's awesome.
So, and where you want to do it outside of the United States,
yes.
you said? Where?
Africa.
That's the work that
Cure
Cure
International
does. They do
does,
cleft
right.
palates, and they have a hospital in Uganda and Niger. I've been to 20 African countries.
20.
Yeah,
How many countries have you been total?
130. That's a little atypical, I admit it. It's the only thing I boast about without any hesitation.
I've been to 150 gang neighborhoods.
That's more impressive, I must say. I would say.
Each one is its own little country.
Yeah. Not only that, it's a little more dangerous, than my first-class cruises to Togo.
She doesn't tell you either, but she skated competitively at the Boston Garden.
Yeah.
You skate as well?
Yes.
All right. So here's a question: what don't you do? You play a musical instrument?
Yes.
Oh my God, I can't catch her.
She literally
What do you
writes her
play?
own songs.
I play the piano and the drums.
Is there a piano here or at
Keyboard.
school?
It's a keyboard and there's one at
And do
school
you
too.
read notes?
Yes.
That's fantastic. How many flats in the key of F?
About 6.
I'm sorry?
6, I think.
No, don't guess. It's all right. I didn't expect you to know, but I was just curious. 1. That's all right. No problem. I love music.
Okay.
Do you like classical music?
Yes.
You do?
Yeah, because I skate to it.
So, oh, interesting.
Yeah.
You have a favorite composer?
No.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay.
How about a favorite piece?
I don't know the name of it, but I know the song. I was just writing a story right now.
You writing stories too?
Yeah.
You're gonna go far, man. Yeah, don't forget us.
All right, Curly. Have a good night. We'll see you next week.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us. You too. Thank you. Now listen, I want you to know, even though I'm an LA King fan, I still like it.
Can you show?
But not like me. I got it. I got the distinction.
Can you show Dennis and Sue some of your moves for boxing?
Yes.
Oh, really?
That too.
Show it on him.
Okay. This is my guard.
Yeah.
This is the jab. This is the right. And this is the uppercut. This is the hook. And this is the pivot when you turn. And then this is duck.
Put it in one motion.
Okay, ready?
Yeah. Wow.
It's too fast.
And then these are my trophies. This is the hockey one, and this is my one I won big. The big one I won.
The boxing?
Yeah.
That's really impressive.
Did you want to show them the blood on your gloves?
Yeah, sure.
Is that right?
Wait. Can you hold your trophy up so I can take your picture?
Sure.
Thank you. Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you for my card.
No problem.
You have better handwriting than me.
Not really.
Really?
Okay.
All right,
so,
Curlies.
With great pleasure.
So good.
We're all huggers. So that's easy.
I want to take them all home.
I know. Yes. Well, we're running out of rooms with all the people we have, that we take home.
Ready? It's gonna be with this camera. 1, over here. 1, 2, 3. Beautiful.
Thank you, Jose. Wonderful family.
So this wall right here is all the gang members that have been killed in the past.
Gang members who've been killed in the past?
Yeah, they put them on
and
the
who
wall.
are these guys? Are these gang
Those are all
members?
Bounty Hunter Blood gang members. There's more cocaine sold in this area than anywhere else in the country. Rock cocaine. They have over 2,000 documented gang members. At any given time, there's 3 to 5 locations selling on a 24-hour basis.
So what are these guys doing now? Are they waiting for sales? Are they, discussing the contemporary situation in the Middle East? What are they doing?
Not the Middle East, the middle of the baseball field in the back. But no, they're just on break. They're loitering. They'll have some beers. The older guys tend to sell from 12 at night to 8 in the morning because that's not what they know. We don't do search warrants then.
Why is that?
No judge, right?
No, it's just we don't need to because we can serve a search warrant every day because there's always dope sales. So you talk to Eric Shear. If I find a guy that's selling at midnight and we want him, Eric Shear will adjust his unit and take him down. And all the prostitution here is called crack whoring because they literally prostitute just to get enough for that next rock, and they walk right in and buy the dope. And there's hundreds and hundreds of homeless people here. See all back here?
There's hundreds of homes that are what? Dealing?
Homeless people. They just come and deal the dope. So they call it zombie land for now.
But now that dope is available for...
No, that's what marijuana is legal, not
this is all crack cocaine.
Oh, okay.
And so see these two right here?
Yeah.
All they do is smoke rock for years upon years.
Oh, you know them?
It's
We
amazing
know 'em
that
all.
they stay alive.
Is that what he's doing now?
He's probably high right now, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Does it make people violent?
No.
Which is the thing that makes people violent?
PCP.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Meth, I didn't know meth did.
And again, this area is 70% Hispanic.
But they're not involved in the gangs. But they were Hispanic gangs, right?
Not in this area.
Where are they?
They are up north, 77th, and to our west side.
Are they as violent? Are they just, I mean, is there any difference between a black gang and a Hispanic gang?
Hispanics are more organized. They adhere to more of a structure.
And are they mostly from El Salvador, or is that just my own misperception?
That's MS-13.
Mm-hmm.
So here's what they do all the time. There's always a gun around one of them in case a rival gang comes through.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what they do all day long.
They just watch you go by and it's a non-issue?
Well, we've known each other for 20
Oh, you know
years.
those guys?
This is my neighborhood, so we're tasked with knowing everybody.
So you knew those guys standing there now?
I've known them since they were babies.
Oh, right. So what is their attitude toward you?
Hatred but respect.
White face.
Hatred but respect. Okay, well at least there's respect. I don't really care about, I mean it's sad, but...
Well, we've been in shootings. I mean, but when we're doing business, it's respect. So about 2 months ago, there was a pursuit where officers went in pursuit of gang members from this gang who were caught in another gang neighborhood. When the car stopped, 3 of the gang members got out and opened up on the police.
Oh my God.
2 of them we caught, 1 got away. It was an Operation Prager student.
Oh my God.
Who told us who the outstanding suspect
was.
was.
I see. Oh. I thought you said it was an Operation.
A couple of weeks later, officers from the gang unit stopped a group of kids, and one of the kids yells out, "Shoot him, Deuce Line Rich," which is the same shooter from the previous incident. He turns, shoots at the officer, hits the officer in the arm.
Right.
They return fire, they kill him.
Right.
They kill him right here, and this is the vigil that the neighborhood puts up. So
for this guy?
Yes, and it's been 2.5 months.
Mind-boggling.
So,
candles?
yes, but they're not just candles. It says DLR with a big heart, Deuce Line Rich, and the heart is "We love you." And then if you see the red bandana for Bloods, so he's a hero for life.
A hero for life.
So here's the homeless encampments. Now they go, if you go behind this fence, it's literally a half a mile to the west and another half a mile to the north.
Oh my God.
And they,
18897, possible ADW suspect there now, Central and 120th in front of the store. To the PR, male black.
so all these guys do is collect cans for enough money to go across the street to buy dope. So now you can see that drugs really are not a victimless crime. It's destroying all their lives, and these kids will sell to their best friend's mother. Time to get you back, sir.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, the love shown to you, I mean, it's just been very powerful.
You have someone like Rick Caruso, Janet, and Steve who are in here all the time backing us. Specifically Janet and Steve, who don't just get money, but come down here all the time.
Janet and Steve, there is a Jewish belief that there were 36 righteous people at any one time on earth, and there are 2 of them. There's only 34 left.
Now I think Coughlin might be one of them.
Yes, so now there are only 33 left, exactly.
But if you can see, though, all those kids are on lifetime scholarship because of them.
The world is so upside down. It's eerie when I think of who are the good guys and who's hated and who are the bad guys and victims.
Thank you for coming. And
No. Yeah, it's the best. You're the best. It was unbelievably important to me. And I want them to know that it's important, and that's also part of it.
Yeah. We want to give them support. And you see it, they're all...
No.
Not every single one is good.
No, there's no, but exactly.
Really
and then as I said, there's no group on earth where everybody is good. It's an idiotic expectation.
Right.
It's part of the whole left bringing down of the good. It's like the founding fathers had slaves. Okay, that's it. That's all you need to know.
Bad people because they had slaves.
Right.
No, this is more typical of what goes on down here. What you saw tonight than this other crap you see and hear on the news.
Right, of course.
All these guys are trying to do good work.
They should
Fathers
come
is the
down
whole
here.
is the
Yes,
number one
yes,
issue,
that's
period,
correct.
end of story.
That's right.
Every person you saw sitting outside.
Yes, right. Where's your
had a
dad?
father.
Yeah.
And
Not
the
one.
one kid, the kids you saw that did have
That's
fathers, they
correct.
were good kids.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Marissa Streit, CEO of PragerU. Did you know that PragerU is a nonprofit? Every dollar you give will go towards making more videos and marketing them. So please consider making a donation today.
So it's if you come to Southeast to work, because there's a lot of work that needs to be done here in Southeast. And then, like I said, when I came here about 12 years ago, it was, I guess it was kind of like a rude awakening for me because I wasn't expecting it to be as busy as I thought it was going to be. I did my probation in downtown, which is a very slow division. You know what I mean? If you handle a call, you go back to the station. Yeah, it wasn't that busy. It wasn't that busy. And to put it in perspective, when I did 1 year in downtown LA, and we never handled a single homicide. Wow. Right? And the year I come here to Southeast, there were 110. So I had to learn real quick. You know, I felt like a brand new officer again because this was a different division. It was so fast paced. You know, I mean, it was it was very common, I guess, to have like 3 homicide scenes going on at the same time. It was just that busy.
Additional unit Compton 106. Repeat what you have.
Sorry. Compton at 106.
AT&T 31, 18 George 20 en route.
So one of our units,
you have a 415 group?
requested additional units at 106 in Compton.
No lights and sirens.
It's just an addition. If he makes it a help call, then we can go lights and sirens. Okay, so see, she put herself going code 3, so now she's tell everyone that she's responding code 3 from a
Central 120 is identified.
And then we're gonna go code as well.
18 Henry 51 responding code 3 from Central 120 to Compton at 106. 18 31, 18 31. APC 31, yes, I have several units en route to your location. What do you have at Compton and 106?
George 25, we're code 6 with them. They're at 114 in Gorman.
114 in Gorman, okay. So they're in the other positive.
Roger, on AT&T 31 code 6, 114th in Gorman.
So 114
and George unit that's code 6 with them re-identified?
Is inside Imperial Courts, which is the housing development. And that intersection, the intersection 114th and Gorman is where they had a homicide with a drive-by. It happened right in front of the gym.
18 George 20, verify 31 location.
18 George 20 for another George unit code 6 with them. AT&T 31 is at 114th in Gorman. Stand by for the new code 6 incident.
Do you ever have a night where you're not putting lights and sirens on?
It's rare.
George 25, you can downgrade everyone. Just 1 or 2 more George units to stand by. They got a code for 114 in Gorman.
Unit that's responding to AT&T 31's location, downgrade your response for 18 George 25 code 6 with Z31, and the correct location is 114th in Gorman. 18 Henry 5 over code 6. 18 Henry 51, roger. Henry, 21 down Prager response, and the current location is 114th and Gorman. Stand by for the correct incident.
Just swing by, see what's there. As soon as I make that left over here, then that's where the...
You knew exactly where to go.
Yeah, because you know, you work this division long enough, you know the streets. Yeah. My partner, the Coffin, he started this nonprofit called Operation Progress years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And so he did it when he was first started off real small here, I guess, with some of the gang guys. When he used to work gangs, and what they would do is they'll pay for the tuition for some of these kids to go to, like, you know, college and stuff like that. But they did it just out of pocket, or they were fundraised and stuff like that.
Wow.
So the last couple of years, it actually got real big with people like Mr. Robinson and Rick Caruso, who knew Coughlin, and they heard of his, you know, what he wanted to do here. And so now, I guess Coughlin's right here. So what we do now is we take third graders. We start at third grade. And we try to put them into private schools from third through high school, and everything's taken care of. The tuition's taken care of because we pay for the tuition and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then we see them all the way through college. And each student is assigned an LAPD mentor. So I have like 5 kids that I mentor.
Yeah.
He has another 4 or 5 and stuff like that. So one of the kids lives here. Her name is Amir.
Yeah.
So do you know a lot of the gang members? You know about their names, their faces, their stories?
I know the gangs. I know their areas. I know who is active and not. It's up to the officers that work for me to know their gangs, faces, monikers. So that's their job. My job is to make sure they're in the right area. I'm getting current information to them. Gang members are the worst of society. They commit violent crimes, generally against helpless people, rival gangs. And they are responsible about 70% of all our violent crime. So trying to make an impact on them is important to me.
Hey, hope you enjoyed the video. Did you know PragerU is 100% fan funded? We make videos for people like you because of the support of people like you. Click here to help out and help us keep knowledge free for everyone.